Good morning. It's Wednesday. I'm Wayne. Welcome to Wednesdays with Wayne, brought to you by the Real Estate Business School, where you'll get your license and learn to use it. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the learn to use it part. What does that mean? It means your license is a tool. If you don't know how to use it like any other tool, it's useless. Your license guarantees you nothing. The information that is required to pass a state exam is important. It's a great foundation. It'll get you started. But understand, real estate is not a career. It's a business. And unless you treat it like a business and run it like a business, you'll soon be out of business. And the facts prove me right because 80% of the people that get in get out in the first year. It's because they don't have a business education. This is what we teach: how to get your license, how to use it. This is the learn to use it part. So today we're going to talk about taking on the point of view your real estate career is not a career, it's a business. And how do you put that business on autopilot? So this is what I want to talk about today. What I'm going to do is there's several ways that I apply and use the principle of leverage. Leverage simply means doing more with less to the point you do more with less so well, you get to the point where you do everything with nothing. So today's an example of that. There's several ways I use it. One is money, either equity or debt. I don't use much of my own. I borrow most of it and finance real estate and get other people to pay it back. That's one way you can leverage is using money. The lever is borrowing. I use product. So most of our products were delivered live. Most of them are online now. So I don't have to show up at all these events. The customers don't have to show up at all these events. It's time consuming and expensive to attend live events. There's great value in a lot of them, but I think there's room for both. So we're in both markets, live and online. Technology is another way that we apply the principle of leverage. If you look at technology and understand Moore's law, which is the speed of processors will double every 24 months, and you look at it from the 60s when they started building circuits and processors until today, and you see this exponential growth curve where they're outperforming so much and they're getting better and better and better. And look at computers, the costs are coming down. So these are three main ways today, and the main way is people. And to me, I want to get my productivity up as high as I can, because the more productive I am, there's a direct correlation between productivity and income. So if you can understand, you spend how many hours per day do you spend on income producing activities? Well, if you're stuck in this mindset, and this is what we went over part of last week, is there are two questions that get people to thinking. One is what if, and the other is how. And so if we can just question our thoughts, we tend to make assumptions, and you cannot question an assumption you don't know you've made. So as soon as you have a thought or a point of view, I found that it's always been to my benefit to question it. Where'd that thought come from? Was that something my father told me when I was 5 or 10 or 15? Did he tell me that to help me, to aid me in my own survival beyond his own? I mean, most of the parents love me. They want to take care of me. They want to give me good advice, but some of that advice is dated. It came from the industrial age, which is long gone. And I see people trying to use information or digital age problems with an industrial age education, and those are the ones getting left behind. So when we're talking about the middle class disappearing, this is one of the biggest problems. They have an industrial age education. And so people is one way. It's a proven statistic that a team, even a dysfunctional team, will outperform an individual all day long, every time. So why don't people have teams? Because they have this old industrial age idea, this old thinking process called, if it is to be, it's up to me. If you want it done the right way, you have to do it yourself. Nobody does it better. My customers want to hear from me, blah, 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 blah. No, they don't. They want what you're offering. They don't care who offers it to them. So if you think that you have to be there and your business revolves around you, it's not a business. It's a sole proprietorship. And fine, that's great. If that's what you want, no problem. Everybody gets to choose their own path. All I'm saying is I think hard work is a highly overrated activity. It doesn't make me rich, it makes me tired. And I want to apply the principles, not theories, not fads, not the latest concepts, but principles. Principles, scientists use the word generalized principle. It means true in all cases. So what I've been doing is studying principles because they're true in all cases. Most people are waiting for a good economy. No matter which way the economy goes, it's always a good time to make money. So if you understand the principles. So I don't care what interest rates do. These people are freaked out about eggs and inflation and all this nonsense and noise. And look, when the value of your real estate goes up by hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands, or hundreds of thousands of dollars through inflation, you cease caring what eggs cost. So all I'm suggesting, ladies and gentlemen, is you figure out what game is being played and how you play it and make sure you get on the right side. Because quite frankly, I don't care about inflation. So those of you that want to run your sole proprietorships, work by yourself, do everything on your own, you can go ahead and go do something else now because you're not going to like what I have to say. You're not going to agree with me. You'll go find people to explain your point of view and make me wrong so you can be right. So go do that if you want. All I'm suggesting, ladies and gentlemen, is this. Grow your business is one of the most misused phrases in all of marketing. And if you understand the person who's saying this thing to you, grow your business. If you look at them, most of them are sole proprietors. They don't have a business. So when they use this phrase, grow your business, you can tell the point of view they're coming from. Sometimes it's impossible to read people's minds. Sometimes it's very easy because they tell you. Thoughts become words. So when they say grow your business, usually they're talking about marketing. Marketing is one component of a business. They're talking about, when they say grow your business, what they really mean is increase the amount of your business. They're talking about getting more customers and making more sales. They're referring to marketing. Well, if you have a business, you need marketing, sales, production, customer service, bookkeeping, and accounting. Look, no one's going to do all this on their own. If you want one of these, let me know. I'll send it to you. Can you see this okay? This is the real estate business blueprint. Again, marketing, definition, goal. Sales, definition, goal. Here are the tools. Production, there's the definition, there's the goal. Here are the tools. Customer service, definition, goal, tools. Bookkeeping, definition, goal, tools. Accounting, definition, goal, tools. We teach you how to build and run a business that works. If you have a business that works, you don't have to. It's the epitome of laziness. So if you want one, let me know. We'll send it to you for your wall. So today is about exponentially increasing your productivity. It's more than a simple hire people answer. So how do we get the right people and how do we increase and maximize their productivity? Now, if you do that, now your level of leverage starts increasing, right? So what is the hottest topic today in commercial real estate? Office vacancies, right? So a lot of them, the nationwide average I've read, is about 30% in office vacancies. Now, what's the second hottest topic? Getting people to return to the office. Why do employers want employees to return to the office? What's wrong with remote working? They can't measure their productivity. So they think if they can get them in the office and get a body in there and watch them, their productivity will go up. This is how crazy people are getting. There's another way to do this that's much more simple. It's much simpler. It's much more dignified. It's much more civilized, and it works a whole lot better. You don't have to watch people to get their productivity up. If you have to watch someone to get their productivity up, you got the wrong someone. You got the wrong people. If they have to be micromanaged, you have the wrong ones. So stop blaming them. If you hired them, it's your fault. So go take responsibility, okay? Go back over here, like we've been talking about. Get up here and go, you know what? I need to learn how to hire people who are self-actualized, who self-manage, who can take a task and go do it and get me the result. You got to stop doing this and stop doing that and play from this point of view. So this is something that this is the best thing about being in business. It's like being in a personal growth seminar every day. You get to successfully discover what you don't know because it's right in your face, and then you get the opportunity to go learn it and get better. And if you get better, you get more successful. And the whole key of this whole thing is to get better, better and better and better. So that's it, because your competition is. So here's what we're going to do. We have the problem is I'm going to show you how to put your business on autopilot. I've done it. It's been in business my wife and I have owned since 1989. It's on autopilot. It's kids half my age, third my age, I don't know, running it. I don't even know what they're talking about half the time. It doesn't matter. I don't need to know because they're responsible. They're committed. So that's the real estate business blueprint. If you want one, let me know. What happens is we have too many people taking too much pride in their ability to work hard. Hard work is a highly overrated activity, as I've said over and over and over. It will not make you rich. It'll make you tired. And so what happens is most of us were taught that at an early age. So again, your thoughts, it works like this. This is my observation of people over the years is they'll have one of these. And then they'll act on it, okay? They take an action. And then what they get out of that is this. And so when they don't get this, they go to a therapist or such, and they start looking at this. This isn't the problem, it's this. Because everything starts here. Everything starts with a thought. This event was once a thought. This flip chart 30 seconds ago was a thought. You were once a thought. So if you understand this, you can quit looking at, start looking at this, forget about this. This is what was I thinking? Why did I have that thought that made me do that? Why am I struggling to earn a living when everybody around me is getting rich? Because they have teams and you're on your own. That's why. And if you're on your own, your productivity is always going to be limited. So how do you do this? Well, you control your outcomes. You can choose to control this or you can choose to be chaotic. It's a choice. So the first question I have for you today is, what if everything you know is wrong? Let's just start with that. What if everything you know is wrong? I'm not saying it is. I'm just asking you to ask yourself the question. What if? What if? What if everything you know is wrong? So it's great that people love what they do and they're committed to success and to creating something that solves problems. I'm talking about sole proprietors. It's great to be a sole proprietor. Not. They're committed, the people, to success and creating something that solves problems and makes people's lives better. And they're willing to do whatever it takes, no matter what, to make that happen. So I don't mean to discount that or make little of it. I'm just saying the world is designed to change. It's changing every day and it's changing faster and faster. And so here's the question I want to ask you. You can continue work by yourself. These are the thoughts that keep people in struggle. It's right here. If it is to be, it's up to me. If you want it done the right way, do it yourself. Nobody does it better, as Carly Simon would say. And my customers want to hear from me. These are the thoughts. So what do? Then they say, good people are hard to find. You can't find good help. I don't know how to find talent. Nobody wants to work. People are lazy. Blah, blah, blah. So here we go again, blaming somebody else for your miserable, pitiful results. And all I'm saying is that's a bunch of hooey. You're stuck right here, trapped in your little mind. One location legend. This is it right here. A legend right here, nowhere else. So what do you do? Well, you have to start asking yourself these questions. They're very powerful and they'll put your mind to work. What if? And the question I want to ask yourself is, what if you could get a result, get your productivity where you want it to be, get your income where you want it to be, and learn how to hire the right people to get them do the right thing at the right time? How would you do that? That's what we're going to talk about today. How do you do that? So a lot of people that want to work hard, they're just, it's fine, but it's overrated. It's overrated. I can't tell you how many times I've interviewed people and I said, okay, well, this is good. Tell me, if we were to bring you on board, what value, what characteristics, what traits, what would you add to the organization? 9 out of 10. I'm a hard worker. Like, okay. I don't give it much merit, but whatever. See, I want my employees to be lazy. I'm going to say it again, okay? I prefer my employees be lazy. I don't want them struggling, and I don't want them using industrial age information to solve problems. I want them to use the generalized principle of leverage as well. From the day we're born, there's a battle for our minds. So between the problem is most people have never had an original thought. So between our parents, our teachers, our priests, our bosses, and our politicians, we're all been told what to think and what to do. And so to find someone who's learned to think for themselves, to have an original thought and take action and implement it is a rare thing. So I'm going to encourage you to think for yourself. Don't believe a word I say. Go find out for yourself. Research it. So to me, the key to success is laziness. And my dad drove him crazy. You know, he was the champion of hard work. He did great. I mean, they gave me great advice. He did his best to help me. It's just, he came from this industrial age education, and he was taught hard work is the key to success. And he loved working hard, but he struggled and struggled and struggled. And I grew up lazy. I was like, I felt bad about it for a couple of minutes, but then I realized I was right. So by laziness, this is what I'm talking about. And Kobe Bryant is probably the best example I've ever heard of this. I started this interview with Kobe Bryant. He says, look, I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. By 5, I'm on the basketball court, and I practice and I practice and I practice and I practice. Don't quote me on this. I don't remember exactly, specifically, word by word, the interview. This is my interpretation of what I heard. Okay, so it's just it's the concept that I'm after here, not the statistical details. Then he goes home and has breakfast or does whatever, goes to the gym, works out, goes back to the court and practices and practices and practices, and then does it all day and does it all day, every day, all day, every day, all day, every day. And he says, but by the time I got to the NBA, I was so far ahead that it doesn't matter how much the guy behind me practiced because he would never catch me. I thought, wow, that's amazing. That kind of commitment. See, that was him. And that's what he decided it took for him to become the special, totally gifted, incredible athlete that he was. So I'm not discounting hard work. If you have a body and you need your body to produce income, then by all means, you better get the thing in shape and make sure it lasts a long time because that's you. That's it. If you don't work, your income stops. I get it. I'm not talking about that aberration or the exceptions. I'm talking about you and me, ordinary people, building a business. And I'm saying is, if you're a sole proprietor, you screwed, blued, and tattooed, you'd be better off if you had a job. At least then you'd have regular hours and benefits. That's all I'm saying. So if we're going to build a business, we've got to build it, not grow it with marketing, but actually build it. The 6 components. We got to get the right people on the bus and in the right seats and the wrong people off the bus. Now, how do we do that? Well, how do we get more done in less time? Now, if you could get all out of the struggle of building a business, and then that's what we're here to talk about. So I've been doing this since I was 19 years old. I've owned several, and one tanked in 1985. I got to Austin down 2 million, decided and started my life over. And I realized that I was the biggest problem to my success. I realized that I needed to get myself out of my way. So I started learning. I became a lifelong learner. I've been studying ever since. And I realized that I love learning. It's joyous. I went to school and it wasn't very much fun. They force fed me misinformation and beat me for making mistakes. Like, oh, this isn't fun. This sucks. Can I go back again tomorrow? No. So here's what happens. When I look at over all these years of running these companies, I look at them, I see an interesting pattern. This is why I lost my business in the mid 80s. I wasn't paying attention to patterns. So the oil market dried up in early 80s, the real estate market crashed in the mid 80s, and the stock market crashed in 87. And so there's a pattern there. And what I saw was the same pattern that caused the real estate bust in the 80s caused the same real estate bust in 2008. Almost the same thing. So there's a pattern. And what I'm looking for is a pattern. The question I have when I see something is that a pattern or an aberration? So if you can start studying patterns and trends and look back in history and study patterns and study trends, what happens is the more you understand patterns and trends, the further you can project into the future. So you can actually see the changes coming if you understand patterns and trends. So study those. And then this is what I've noticed over the years of studying companies. About 80% of all the processes in the companies are the same over and over. They're repeated throughout the day, over and over and over and over. There's repeated processes. Well, if you have a process repeated, you don't need highly talented, expensive people. You can systemize that. So to me, let's say the process of answering the telephone, it's the same over and over and over again, right? For most companies, phone rings, person picks it up. Blah, blah, blah. How many of you have had this experience? How many of you have called a company? I did this the other day. I called, it's ringing, ringing, ringing. Here's what I'm doing over here. See, I got three screens. I got stuff everywhere. So while the phone is ringing, I drift off, right? I'm looking around other things I could do. I forgot who I was calling. Suddenly somebody picks up the phone and they go, "May I help you?" And I'm like, "What?" She said it so fast. She'd been doing it so many times for so long. She said it so fast, the name of the company, and I didn't even get it. I said, "What? Who are you? Who did I call? Can I help you?" She did it twice. Okay. Two times I didn't hear, I didn't understand. I said, and by then I just went, "Yeah, I think I've misdialed. Sorry." And I hung up. So we need to find, so what happened? Why did that happen? So I see something like that and go, why'd that happen? I mean, you've got a business owner, company owner somewhere who one day said, we need somebody to answer the phone. Okay, hire someone to answer the phones. And hire someone to answer the phones. But they didn't train them and they didn't vet them and didn't make sure that the person fit the job. So this is the result you get. So it's not just about simply hiring people. It's hiring the right people. How do you get the right people to do the right thing at the right time? If you can do that, then what happens is magic happens. And the way you do that is simple. You write a system. You got to know how to write the system. If you write the system, then you'll find the people. Then the people will show up. You'll learn how to hire them. So it's all about how do I get right people, right thing, right time. So this comes from, it's from the book In Search of Excellence. And if you read the book In Search of Excellence by Peters and Waterman, they talk about this research they did of the most successful companies in America and looked for the traits that made it successful so they could duplicate them. What they found is that most companies had good policy manuals. What holds a company together is a policy manual. And they they equated it to, they called it the fruit bowl theory of business. And what they said was, if you had a fruit bowl and it was full of fruit, what holds the fruit together? What holds the fruit in there? It's the bowl, right? So what holds the organization together, that the bowl represents rules or policies and procedures. And they found out the most successful companies have, first of all, they had rules, set and policies. You got a printed policy manual, everybody got. And then there were very, very few of them. They did a study of the Pentagon. They found them spending $400 and $500 for a hammer and $600 toilet seats and all these outrageous expenditures and all these volumes and volumes and volumes and rules and policies about how to procure goods and services, but they don't work. So having a lot of policies don't work. You have to have policies. There needs to be just a few, and they need to be posted and for everyone to see. So this is what they found that the most successful companies in America did. So you need to have rules, which is interesting to me because I don't really like rules. I've been a rule breaker my whole life, as you can probably imagine. I hate rules. I mean, to me, a stop sign is a suggestion. This rules, regulations, policies, ordinances, laws, but we need them. If we're going to be a civilized society, we need to have rules. We need to have laws. If you're going to have a company, you've got to have policies. And you tell the people in it, this is the way we do it here. Everything begins in initial communication. Please write this down. Every problem you have right now, or you've ever had, began in the initial communication. It was either something you said or something you didn't say that you should have said. And so when we hire, the first thing is the initial communication. We have rules, policies, systems. This is the system. We'll teach you how to run it. You run it. So understand, people don't run the business. They run the systems. Systems run the business. And you tell them, you change one thing, you're out of here. Do not change the systems. Now, do systems sometimes break? Yes. So how do you know a system's broken? You get a complaint. Somebody makes a mistake. Somebody messes something up. So you have some people that you do not want in your organization. That's these. So when you start hiring people, you have to have rules, policies, and procedures. What happens if you don't have rules? What do people do? They make up their own, as you probably experienced, either in your organization or maybe in your personal life. You've had these expectations. You thought you had these rules. Turns out the other party wasn't playing by the same rules you were playing by. So every problem begins in initial communication. This is why before Lynn and I got married, we sat down, we made some rules. She'd been married before, I've been married before. We decided to get married together. Thought, we should get some agreements in place. Rule number one in our house, everybody gets what they want. For real, this is it. Everybody gets what they want. I'm not going to say to her, you know what, you can't have that. It costs too much. Or it's too expensive. Or we can't afford it. You married a loser. Yeah, that's what happened. No, I'm not going to say that to her. Everybody gets what they want. Rule number two, you can't break the other rules to get it. Rule number three, before you buy a liability, you have to buy an asset to create cash flow to pay for it. Those are the rules. Have a great day. Get whatever you want. So it's all about rules, contact. Because without them, people make up their own. When people make up their own rules, what happens? Confusion, drama. Drama and confusion are the enemy of business. You show me a company that's in drama and confusion, I'll show a business in struggle. So all I have to do is implement some rules. It's simple. Systems are the grease of organization. They provide structure and they allow the business to run smoothly and quietly. We've got to have systems. I mean, if you look, we live in a world of systems. The body is a series of systems. You have a skeletal system, you have a muscular system, you have a nervous system, you got a blood system. It's all systems. And when people get uneasy or diseased, it's because one of the systems is failing, right? So it's all systems and they all need to work together. The thing is, you don't need to tell the body what to do. It knows what to do. It just does it, right? You don't have to tell your eyes to blink. You don't have to tell your throat to swallow. It just does it. Your business can be the same way. All you got to do is build it. Now, you're going to go crazy doing this, I'm telling you right now. This is what you're going to say to you. You're going to have this little voice in your head. You sit down and you write a system for everything. Start with opening the door. How does an employee open up the business? And this is what we wrote. This is the way we did it. You put the key in, turn it counterclockwise till it clicks, turn it back to where you started, and pull it out. Pull on the door. What lights do you turn on? What switches do you turn on? How do you turn off the alarm? How do you turn on the building? How do you get everything up and running? And we open at 8, so you got to be there at 7:30. You don't walk in at 7:59 and hustle around, turn switches on like people coming in, right? So there's a system to everything, and all you have to do is write the systems. All you have to do. This is the hardest thing you'll ever do. And the thought you're going to have is, as you're writing these systems, the thought, and I guarantee you're going to have this thought, oh my God, this is taking forever. I could have done it by myself 15 times by now. And that's true. You could. But here's what happens. If that's your point of view, if that's your thought, then you're going to keep this result. That's your job forever. The only way to get rid of that job is to write a system on it. And then you've got to hire the right people. You can't just throw someone in there. Look, when you look at these characters here, like, who do you hire, right? So we all have things that we do. Some things we're excellent at, right? I mean, it comes naturally to you. Some people see them to pick up a guitar, they get a piano, or whatever. They're great musicians. It comes to them naturally. Some people are really gifted athletes. Some people are gifted mathematicians and great with numbers. Some people are really, really great wordsmiths. Everybody's got this talent, right? Everyone was born a genius and meant to be an incredible success. So we all have things that we're excellent at. We have things that we're pretty good, very good at. We have things that we do just okay, like we're fair at. And then we have things that we don't do well at all, that we're poor at. So for me, the key is figure out where I am here, where I am here. What does the organization need? It doesn't need 2 of these, right? So you find someone where you're poor, they're excellent. And where you're excellent, they're poor. And you get this balance. So if you understand this, I guarantee you don't want any of these. What happens is, especially when you start to hire, this takes over. As we talked about last week, I coined this phrase called the mirror effect. And it came from observing people and listening to what people say. And I've heard people say, opposites attract. I'm like, no, they don't. They do not. Opposites repel. Opposites don't attract. They might attract for, what I said last week, like a meaningful weekend, but long term, the differences is not what holds people together, it's the similarities. So what happens is we typically, you're just saying birds of a feather flock together. That one I like and believe is true. Birds of a feather flock together. I hang out with people who are pretty much like me. Fairly fit, athletic, business-minded, like making money, great wives, great families, great friends, love wine. The list goes on and on. Good food. So we hang out with people like us. Well, if you're not careful, you're going to hire people like you. And so if you're in sales, this is why I keep teaching salespeople. The sales training we have is this most powerful tool you'll ever have. There's so many ways to use this. So if you're a salesperson and you can only sell to people like yourself, and let's say you're a D, how much of the market do you miss? Three quarters, right? So if you start to hire, the last thing you want is a building full of Ds. Are you kidding me? These guys are running around screaming at each other, telling everybody what to do. They don't listen. They have no idea of structure, policies, procedures. They're impetuous. They're impatient. They're loud. They're obnoxious. They talk too much and yell and argument. Don't live. No. You don't want them in there. You know what D's do? D's are good at originating. So to me, when I start hiring, here's what I'm looking for. You have a group of people, I call them originators. As I said earlier, most people they've never had an original thought. Originators are original thinking. They have these thoughts that some people never had before. A lot of people are walking around out there right now have had billion or multi-billion dollar ideas, but they can't manifest them on the physical plane. You know what I mean? They can't make them happen. And so you need originators to come up with ideas to innovate. The two things that make money in business, marketing and innovation, according to Peter Drucker. Everything else is an expense. It's a quote from Peter Drucker. Marketing and innovation alone make money. Everything else is an expense. So we need originators in the organization. But we also need these. It takes a very creative person to learn how to spell a word more than one way. I did it again. We need implementers, people who can implement the ideas. And we get the business built. And then once it's built, we need administrators that will run it. So as you're going through this process of building the company, understand that you need, who do you need in here? So these are going to be your people, front facing, customer service, receptionists, answering phones, customer service. These are going to be running the company. Without S's, no work gets done. They're loyal. They'll do repetitive processes. They're good listeners. They're good problem solvers. And without them, hardly not much work gets done. These people are too busy talking. High C's are doing research and can't. There's two things they can't say. They cannot say the word yes, and they cannot say the word no. They're so bogged down in minutia and detail. They research, cannot make a decision. So they have a place in the organization. Researchers have a place. You need them. As annoying as they can be, you got to have them. You need to do research and have somebody watching details. The biggest problem D's have is they don't pay attention to details. So the money's going out as fast as it's coming in. So you need these people. You need these people. You need these people. You need these people. Because every one of them is excellent at one level and poor at another. And so once you get balanced, then what happens is you put the rules in place, you put the policies in place, you put the systems in place, then you get the right people in the right seats on the bus, and next thing you know, magic happens. Your productivity goes through the roof. Okay? So that's it. And what inspired me most, I mean, the story that I like the best is the story of McDonald's. Ray Kroc bought the McDonald's hamburger restaurant from the McDonald's brothers. He didn't build the systems. He had them in place. The McDonald's brothers built them all. That's what attracted him to it. That's why he bought it. Because he went in there, he had a hamburger and went, wow, look at this place. What he saw were the systems. And his thought was, this can be replicated across the globe. This is a worldwide product that's already in place. And so that's what McDonald's is famous for. The systems are so easy, a kid can run them. So they hired teenagers, and they built one of the largest franchises in the world. They're on the prime corners across the globe. And it's all systems. The oven doesn't have knobs on it. It's preset. Teenagers don't get to determine what temperature hamburger meat, hamburger meat cooks at. There's timers are built in. They put a patty on there, beep, beep. They flip it, beep. They take it off. They don't get to determine how long it sits, how hot it is. No, the cups have lines on them. One's for ice, one's for liquid. That's it. Bam, bam, bam. System. Cash register the same way. Walk in, everything's got a number. Same number on the cash register. I want a four. Give me a two. Cut the mustard, two. Cut the mustard. It's all automated. They built an empire with teenagers. Most parents can't get them to clean up their room. So this is the beauty and the value of having systems. And so what most businesses do is they have a problem or a mistake or something in the company. And so there's a problem or an upset in the company, most of them blame the employees, blame the system. So understand that most people want to do a good job. The onus is on you, the business owner, to give them the tools, the equipment, and the training they need to do the job as well as they want to do it. So 94%, this is W. Edwards Deming, now I'm quoting, said that 94% of the problems in business are failures in business are systems failures. The problem is a failure in the system, not the people. And so when you have a failure or a problem or an upset, like a complaint or bank balance doesn't match or whatever it is, leave the people alone. Look to the system for correction. What happened to the system? So you have to interview the parties involved. What'd you do first? Then what'd you do? Then what'd you do? Then what'd you do? What happened? What happened? What happened? And you go through the details of the process. You go, okay, that's what happened right there. That's where the system failed right there. Write a new system, get it in place, take the old one out of the policy manual, put the new one in, notify the parties responsible, the parties involved, hear back from them, make sure everybody's aware, and off you go to the next one. You just correct. That's how you build the business. That's how you put them on autopilot. What business is McDonald's in? Real estate, right? So he simply used the burger. So what did Ray Kroc know? He knew what business he was in. So here's the questions I'm going to ask you. What business are you in? Who's your customer? What business are you really in? Who's your customer? Who's the competition? What's your message? So what Ray Kroc knew was his customer wasn't the hamburger eater. He was selling franchises. His competition wasn't Wendy's, Burger King, and Whataburger. It was every other business opportunity. Somebody who was sick of their job and wanted to own their own business had options to buy. So his competition were other business opportunities. So his customer was the franchisee. The product was real estate, and his competition was every other business opportunity. So that's what he sold. So what he did was he started his university called the University of Hamburgerology. He started it in Illinois. And he hired he'd sell the franchise, bring the people in, send them to the university. He would say, you're going to learn to run the systems. The systems run the business. It's turnkey. You turn it on, it works. You don't have to. You change one thing, I'll take it back. If you change one system, I'm going to take it back. And this was the magic. This is what he saw. This is how he built it. And you can do it too. So that's what it takes. It's systems. I love that Ray Kroc story. The guy rocks. So here's the question. You're going to work. First of all, you never own a business you work in. So when you first start, there'll be how much time do you work in your business? How much time do you work on your business? Now, when you first start, you'll be working in it almost all the time. But take some time and start working on it. And every night, sit down and write a system. Replace yourself with systems. And then this comes down a little bit, and this goes up a little bit. You write some more systems. This comes down a little bit, this comes up a little bit. Then you start hiring people. You work on it less, you work on it more. You work on it less, you work on it more. Eventually, you're working on it full time. You're working in it none. It's a process. Simply replacing yourself with systems. Every time one breaks, just find out how and where it broke, and go change it. So these are the tools you need. I mean, you even have a system for doing this. You'll even have a system for hiring people. Like I said last week, we have a system where we hire the perfect person for the perfect job in 45 minutes or less. That's a system. And we taught the employees how to run the system. They hire their own workers now. We don't hire them. I don't hire people anymore. Okay. All right. So here are the steps. Number one, write the systems. Number two, using the system. If you don't have it and you want it, email me, info@buildmyrebusiness.com. I'll send you the system for how to hire the perfect person for the perfect job in 45 minutes or less with no resume or interview. So you write the systems. Two, you hire the right people. Make sure you get the right people for that job. And then you train them. You got to train them. Then provide all the necessary tools, the equipment, computers, software, whatever it is. You can't leave them hanging out there twisting in the wind. Support them and give them everything they need to do that job quickly, fast, efficiently. Because that's what they want to do. Then the people run the systems. The systems run the business. Leave the people alone. If something breaks, you look to the system for corrections when problems occur. And just remember, the people come and the people go, but the systems stay the same. Okay? That's it. Call or email me if you have any questions. This is how you use your license. Business. This is the real estate business blueprint. This is being built. This will be available online in the very near future. We've got the framework built, writing content now. You'll be able to access this 24/7, 365, get your questions answered, but all this content's being put in there. So it'll explain to you. You go in there, you have a click pop. You click on this, you'll have a window pop down. There'll be text, there'll be video, and explain to you what I just did. How do you use that? What's VAK? What are quality questions? What are all these tools? Everything's going to be on there online for you to access it. That's it. So that's how you get your license. So we teach you how to get your license. This is how you use it. It's not a career, obviously. It's a business. If you don't treat it like a business, you run like a business, you're out of business. The real estate business school, where you get your license and learn to use it. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the learn to use it part. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next Wednesdays at 9 o'clock, where it's going to be Wednesdays with Wayne. Thank you. Enjoy your week. Thanks for showing up. That was awesome. Thank y'all.